When we prime a historic type old wood sash, we want to use an oil-based primer, okay? And an oil-based primer gets a particular type of brush, okay? This is an example of that particular type of brush. And you've got one, you know, right here you can look at. This is a natural bristle brush, okay? You don't really want to use a synthetic brush. They just don't work well with an oil-based primer, okay? So I've got a good brush right here. It's the bristles that matter. So, but then I'll use an oil-based primer. My favorite product, this is Zinsser's All Prime, but that comes from my paint store at Tanner Paint. If you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, then this product here will be called Cover Stain.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the deal is with the different names, but it's the exact same product. So if Tanner Paint, I like to go local, right, if I can, and but sometimes, you know, they're out and you got to go to Home Depot or whatever. If you go to Home Depot, it's called Cover Stain. Right. So that's that right there. Another thing that you will need is some paint thinner. Okay, and this is like mineral spirits. Okay, and before I even start, what I do is I'll have just a regular can or something, a container to put a little bit of mineral spirits in, so that I have a place to put my brush right away when I'm done. And I'll just put a little bit in there. I'm not going to put a whole lot, but I need a place to set my brush when I stop, right? It's kind of like other paint, like household paint you paint a room with, you might put it in water, right? But oil-based paint, you would put your brush in paint thinner or mineral spirits, okay? Do you mind handing me that rag over there, please?
This one?
Yeah, that one's fine. Okay. Now, I've got a rag here. The rag is going to be pretty important, you know, because I might have some excess mineral spirits on this. Like if my brush is sitting in my can of spirits, and I want to get some of that off of there, I can wipe it off like this. Well, look, see, I'll get some on there now. See how it's dripping off? Okay. If I want to get some of that off, I can wipe it against the can. But if I have a rag like this, then I can soak up some more like that. Margie, over on the table over there is a piece of plywood. See that little stack of plywood blocks? Yes, please. Can you bring me one? Please, thank you. Now, this is just a scrap piece of wood here that I use this as, I call it a blotter board, okay? Because for example, how I was drying the brush here, okay? Sometimes another way to get the proper amount of material on your brush is to use the blotter board, okay? If I got too much, or maybe my paint is too runny or something like that, I can have a non-essential piece of scrap that I could throw away. Doesn't mean it's not consequential, right? So, and I can make it consequential. I can use it over and over again, especially if I'm at the same station, right? So I'll put that there and have that ready. Maybe I'll put this there, and I've got my primer over here, and let's see what I've got. I have.
How much is enough on the brush?
Ooh, that's a really, really good question. I know how much is too much. Too much is all the way up to here, right? If you go up all, you know, so that's obvious, right? So you don't want it all over your handle, right? So that you're forced to paint like this. No, when you're painting a sash, you don't need much, okay? Now, a lot of painters, like painting houses and painting trim and things like that, they will advise that you don't put more than 2 fingers deep of paint on your brush, right? Me, I'm going to advise 1 finger, okay? And you'll see you just don't need that much when you're priming, because look at it. It's just not that big, right? I mean, it's deceptive. I mean, if the space is big where the glass goes, but the individual parts, that's not big at all, right? All right, so that's good. I've reconstituted it. So restore, reconstitute, get that back to where it needs to be, and then I'm just gonna take my brush here, get it off of my stick here, okay? Oh, but look, I can put a stick over there.
Yep.
Okay. Now look, I've already got a little bit on my brush already. That's enough to start. See, you don't want to load. You don't want to load it. I mean, like big time. All I'm going to do, I'm going to take this here and I'm going to put it on my profile. Okay. There. Okay. Now you see that didn't go too far. Okay, that's fine. I'm just trying to empty my brush. So when I do it, now look, I'm also going to put my can to my right hand side because I'm right-handed. And I'm going to have the brush in my right hand the majority of the time. So it makes sense that I have my can on the right-hand side of my work. Okay, and I can put it here. That's fine. That gives me room there. Now when I prime, okay, I prime and I paint a sash in a very particular way. Okay, I want you to see that number one, I don't put a lot of material on my brush. If I get one finger on there, I advised one finger as a maximum. I won't even put that, maybe half of that. Okay. The other thing I won't do is I won't scrape the material off back into my can. What that does, when you do that, is that puts material all over the other bristles of your brush. You know, and it makes it. That's what starts your mess. Now, the other thing that I will do is that I will only prime the profile here in this down position. Why is that? Because I want my material to flow downward out into my brush. Now, can I go uphill like this? Yes, I can, but guess what happens? The material starts to run back down into my brush and it'll clog right down in there and limit the life of my brush, and it'll get messy, that'll flow back down into the handle, and it's just not pleasant, right? So if I want to keep things pleasant, I keep my brush here. Now, this is where I like to prime and paint the most, in this position, okay? But what I'll also do is if I have some excess on my brush, I will go ahead and wipe it off here, okay? Because I'm right-handed. I mean, I could go over here, but you know, I'm right-handed and this is just convenient. Now, Joan, you're left-handed?
No, I'm
No, you're right-handed? You know, Mark, you left-handed? No?
Both.
You're both? Okay. Well, so, well, we're gonna be a right-handed painter for the most part. I mean, I could switch hands and go this way, right? Sometimes you need to do that, but one of the things, like, it's really important to understand about my method is I only prime this down position here because I want to keep my brush clean, right? And
less drips, less mess.
Right, and do good work. Now, something else that nobody's asked about or I haven't mentioned is I've got these little riser blocks under here, okay? These riser blocks keep the sash up off the table so that I can get down to the edge without getting it all over my table. See that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's pretty important, I think. So when I prime, I'm going to prime the rabbit, I'm going to prime the profile and the rabbit at the exact same time because I'm here. Okay.
Right.
But I have the profile facing me because I want to make sure that I get the best quality visible coating on the profile that I can. Because the glazing rabbit's going to be covered with glass and putty.
Right.
You know, aesthetics don't matter as much. So I'm going to have the profile out here in front. So I'm going to start now. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Everybody ready? All right. So I'm going to now dip the tip of my brush into the primer. And I want you to notice how much I put on there, okay? Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Is that one finger?
Nope.
Not even one finger, not even close, right? But it's enough. And I'm gonna put it on here, okay? And there we go. So while I've got it here, now I'm just gonna lean it forward and put it in the glazing rabbit. And if I don't have enough, I'll dip it in again. Not much, mind you, just a little bit, okay? And I'll put it in the glazing rabbit.